The Brotherly Birds Breakdown is proud to be a part of the Clashing Conferences Sports Fan Network, where passionate fans make powerful content. Check out theclashingconferences.com and join the squad today. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Brotherly Birds Breakdown. We have preseason football coming up this weekend. We're the Montgomery Brothers. I'm Jim.
I'm Kyle. What's going on, brother?
What's up, brother?
Not much, man. Not much. Fresh off of Summer League championship for flag football. So congrats
Very
to
nice.
Keegan and his team. Look, not gonna sugarcoat it. I dominated 9-year-olds as defensive coordinator, and I'm not embarrassed to talk about it. I'm not ashamed to take pride in it. We turned a team. So we played, just a quick story. We played this team the first week of the season. They blew us out 21-0, just completely annihilated us. We had no answer, no nothing. We had 2 losses on the year. Both were to that team. And what do they always say in sports? It's hard to beat a team 3 times in 1 year.
Yes,
And they couldn't beat us 3 times. We dominated them in the championship. The kids played great, man, and it was awesome to see. So they went from getting shut out in the first game of the season to shutting that team out in the championship. So, congrats to them. It was awesome.
That's awesome. Congrats. And look, Vic, none of this will we retire stuff. We got the defensive coordinator in waiting. Let's go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think I could take it on for sure. I mean, look, if I can get 9-year-olds to pay attention and do what they got to do, I got to be able to get adults to do it, right? I mean, you got to think.
You would think.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. Well, speaking of paying attention, that's a perfect segue. I was going to start off with the big news, but something over the past 2 days is kind of taking over the big news around this football team. Yep. And if you haven't seen it yet, apparently Jalen Hurts became the first NFL quarterback in the history of the league to throw an interception in training camp. The Eagles, which I thought they were doing a great thing, highlighting Q because the defense is good, showed a picture of Q or a video of Q making a great interception. Hollywood Brown may or may not have slacked and pulled an A.J. Brown on it. I'm just saying that. But you would have thought that Jalen Hurts murdered somebody, the outrage that this thing caused, making national news.
Yeah, I mean, look, first and foremost, if I'm Q, I feel a little slighted because that was a hell of an interception. That ball was like, it was basically, you did exactly what you needed to do as a quarterback. You threw that in a position that it should have been only your receiver can make that catch. But Q, being the Pro Bowl cornerback, and we know how good he is, made a great play. And I think, unless there's some type of crazy conspiracy going on, I think that's what the Eagles' social media was trying, as you said, to promote, like the sheer athleticism and the greatness of Q. What do we do in Philadelphia? We completely spin it. Our quarterback threw an interception in practice.
And not
to harp on AI and not to bring him up, but we're talking about practice, not a game. Practice against a top 5 defense, which we already talked about last week, are looking to shut out our offense every single time that they're going up against them. It's iron sharpens iron. You know what I mean? Like, right. It's the old adage. If he's throwing a pick and Q's picking him off, he's not going to make that same mistake in the regular season. Do it now.
He's not going to face many corners that are as good as Q anyway. But I mean, I will say, I think Hollywood Brown could have put a little bit more effort into that. He just stopped and was waiting. Um, so I think there's some blame there. But the conspiracy theory people were saying that the Eagles purposely put that out there to motivate Jalen. And I'm like, you got to be reaching a little bit there for that one.
The caption was cute. It had nothing to do with Jalen. Yeah, I
Right.
know Jalen threw it and they slowed it down to show the ball. Like, look, it was a great thrown ball, like tight spiral, everything. Like it was, like I said, it was perfectly placed where realistically only his receiver can make that play. And 99 out of 100 times, unless you're going up against one of the top 5 corners in the NFL, your receiver has a chance at that and nobody else does. Like that's a simple.
Right.
But Q made a great play. And I can't for the life of me understand the hate and the piling on that happens for Jalen Hurts in August every year. He's been with the team every year that he's been with the team. We made the playoffs. He's been to 2 Super Bowls, was the best player in both of those games, and we won a Super Bowl. Should have won 2, but we won 1 Super Bowl with him. Made the
Yeah.
playoffs every single year that he's been a starter. Like, why are we trying to tear him down every single August? Like, what is it about? And like, look, it's it's hard to not address the elephant in the room. And look, it's probably controversial, and I'm going with this probably, and I'm probably going to catch flack for it. But in 2016 and 17, when we had a different quarterback, nobody had this public outcry. When Nick Foles led us to a Super Bowl, nobody had this public outcry or scrutiny over what he was doing in training camp the following year. Now, what do those quarterbacks have in common that Jalen Hurts doesn't? Do I need to
Yeah.
say it, or can we read between the lines there?
I mean, but I listen, there's something to that. And I think it's a valid point because that's the only thing I can think. And I mean, this goes to a national level, but even locally, it's just like, I, there's something to that. I mean, maybe it's not, but I'm sure there are people out there because we go back to Randall, and we went from Randall to Rodney Pete to Donovan, Mike Vick. If you want to throw in Mr. Dream Team Vince Young, you can throw that in there too. But like you hear it, and there is an underlying tone of that. So I think we'd be naive to not think that that plays some sort of role. Is it the only thing? I don't think so, but you're right. What, like, because I'm sure Wentz wasn't sharp all the time in training camp.
I'm
And
sure. I'm sure. Absolutely. But like, was he having ESP's pre preseason training camp coverage of he went 7 for 9 today with 2 interceptions across the middle and missed a deep ball to this guy? Like, was it like just criticized and scrutinized to that degree? Probably not.
no,
Now,
no,
again, I'm not saying that the national media is like this. I'm not saying that all fans and all Philadelphia media are like this, but it just seems like there's that undertone there that had we had a quarterback with, I'm going to say it, a similar complexion of Josh Allen, we probably wouldn't be having this much criticism every single time he throws an interception, because up in Buffalo, Josh Allen threw an interception the same day that Jalen Hurts did. Nobody's talking about that in the same way, in the same
no.
vein as they're talking about Jalen Hurts.
No, and apparently Allen's came on 11 on 11 drills, which is worse, and Jalen's was on a one-on-one Q versus Hollywood Brown drill. But
And that's, again,
that
I just,
context gets laid out or
exactly.
left out.
Again, everybody in the media has the autonomy to twist it however it fits their narrative for their story. And that's exactly what happens, right? We see it all the time with the media in Philadelphia, even the radio stations in Philadelphia. They're they're more or less, like, lack of a better way of saying it, they're rage baiters. They do it to get a response, they do
Oh,
it to get
100%.
ratings, and they do it to get people fired up. And look, it gets me fired up because I just want my team to win. I don't understand why more fans don't. I don't understand it. Like, especially being in Philadelphia. For the love of God, our teams always suck for the most part. They've always sucked. So when we finally get a guy that wins at the clip that he's winning at, all we want to do is tear him down to the point where he doesn't want to be here anymore. What sense does that make?
It makes no sense. And I think, honestly, we've talked about it on here before. I think it's the whatever generation that was born maybe a little bit earlier than our kids, who have seen nothing but the Sixers consistently make the playoffs, the Eagles winning Super Bowls, the Phillies being in the World Series and in the playoffs. And I think there's a certain level of I don't know, I can't think of the word I'm thinking for, or thinking of.
It's entitlement.
Entitlement. Like,
Yeah.
they feel like they're entitled to that. So if Jalen does throw an interception in training camp, it's like, oh my God, you got to be perfect. And it's like, I remember there were times watching Randall where every time he stepped back to throw the ball, I was worried he was going to throw an interception because that's just the way he threw. And
Yep.
sometimes he did. But
yeah, well, it is this generation because we'll watch Phillies games with Trey, and Christopher Sanchez has had a great season, right? Great season by all accords. Had a couple games where he didn't have great stuff. Through a couple games where he gave up like 2 or 3 runs in an inning. Trey's like, "Oh, he sucks. Get him out of here." I'm like, "He sucks. He's the Cy Young, like the leading Cy Young candidate at that time. Like, what do you mean he
right.
sucks? Like, he's having a bad game. That happens. You know what I mean? Like, but you can't expect these people to go out and play flawless every single game, every single play. It's unrealistic. We always say in baseball, your 300 average gets you in the Hall of Fame. That means that you failed 7 out of 10 times. You failed 7 out of 10 times.
Right.
Jalen Hurts is winning 7 out of 10 games, and we still want to tear him down. Makes no sense to me.
It doesn't. And I mean, I think of everybody, I feel the worst for the poor social media person for the Eagles, who is probably getting crap from everybody. Or maybe whoever did it is getting praise because, I mean, one thing it definitely had engagement and definitely had the views.
Oh, it
But
definitely, yeah, it definitely got that for sure. For sure.
and it's like, and if this is what we're doing here in or training camp, even not even preseason yet, what are we going to do in the game? God forbid if he throws 3 straight incompletions or an interception. Like,
Yeah, well, just wait till next week with the joint practice with New England. I mean, he throws a pick and AJ catches a touchdown. Oh my God.
we
It's
kept the
going to be
wrong
the end of
guy.
the world. Yeah, it's going to be the end of the world. And that's exactly what you're going to hear. Did we keep the wrong guy? AJ seems happier in New England. He's going to put up a Pro Bowl year. He's going to help New England win a Super Bowl. Jalen's not our guy. He throws interceptions
Right.
in training camp. Like, it boggles my mind. Boggles my mind.
It does. Yeah. Did we keep the wrong guy? 215-594-9494.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. There you go. There's your question of the day. We already got it like planned out for you guys next week on whatever day you want to do it. Tuesday, Wednesday, it doesn't matter.
Right. Now, I will say, if that does show up as a question today, that to me makes all of my thoughts and claims legitimate, that a lot of these people are listening to our content and saying, oh, that's good. And a little side note, has nothing to do with anything. I've been talking for 5 years, more than 5 years. I started this podcast in part because that was my idea for a book, Joe Giglio. And now all of a sudden you're taking pre-orders for what ifs in Philadelphia sports history. I'm like, come on. Like, I started podcasting with Back to the Future was what if? And
Yep.
like,
Yep.
but nobody's listening to us.
Yeah, no, and look, we appreciate you guys listening. We appreciate the views. Just, every
Like and
now and
subscribe.
then, maybe just say, hey, shout out to these guys, because
Yes,
if we're constantly giving you content, I mean, look, I understand that it's audio and plagiarism isn't exactly the same anymore. Like, you can't really say that with AI and things like that now. I
yeah,
get it. But like, come on, man. The stand up thing to do is to just be like, hey, I appreciate these guys. I listen to them. You guys should like just take a listen every now and then. Like, boom.
yes.
That's all you need to do. I don't even need you to say the name. Just say the name of the podcast. Don't say the name of
Right.
our each other. You know what I mean? Like if you don't want to go that route, but come
Yeah,
on, man.
yeah. Looking at you, Kyle Quinn
Yeah, I mean, we even share the
and
same
James
name, you son
Seltzer
of a gun. Yeah,
and James
Jimmy,
Seltzer, the
Jimmy,
two
Jimmy.
the
Yeah,
two main culprits there. All right, as we digress, but yeah, I mean, I think it's ridiculous, and I don't think it's going to get any better. And like, I want nothing more this year than for them to win it. And he'll never do it because he's too classy of a guy, despite all this. But just Jalen just come out on top of the float with two middle fingers, with two Super Bowl trophies, and say, "How you like me now?"
that's it. Actually, you know what you're going to get out of him? He's going to get up there for his speech and just be like, "Is that what you all wanted to see?"
Right.
That's it.
Let's
That's
get
it.
number
Like
3.
he's going to keep it classy. He's going to keep it. He's going to keep the main thing the main thing. That's what he's going to keep, right? And that's again. I don't understand how you can hate somebody like that. I don't understand how you can hate on. He's exactly who you want in Philadelphia because he can handle it. He handles the
Right.
pressure. He handles the criticism, and he still comes out on top. It's
Right.
like he's who every fan has wanted to be the leader of your team. You have him, and you're trying to kick him out of here. It just makes no
Yeah.
sense.
It makes no sense because think about it. If Randall had that type of demeanor, probably would be a Hall of Famer. If Donovan had that demeanor, he would have been able to suck it up and deal with the TO
To
situation or at least figure that out. If Carson Wentz had that demeanor, he wouldn't have been so butthurt over Nick Foles winning the Super Bowl with his play that he wanted Doug Peterson to completely change the playbook. So
yep.
like that, and if Nick Foles had the ability consistently that Jalen Hurts had, like, so it's like the perfect thing all into one. And it's just like, I don't know. Jalen's the kind of guy that I wish Donovan was. Jalen's the kind of guy I wanted to believe in Carson Wentz, that I wanted Carson to be. And now we have him.
Yep.
And
No, I'm with you. I'm with you.
he
And
threw an
look,
interception in training camp
oh, and that's it. We gotta get rid of him. We gotta
to
get
an
rid of him.
all
Put it
pro corner.
yeah, to top 3 cornerbacks in the league.
Right.
Not even top 5, top 3. And I probably put Gonzalez up there with him. They're probably even. And then you could take your pick at probably Sertan. I maybe that might be up there, but and I know there's a couple others that I'm missing, but he has to be top 3 in my opinion. But like what
Absolutely.
what do we want? Like a couple years ago, stuff like this was happening, and we wanted to put Tanner McKee in, see what Tanner McKee can do. Do you want Andy Dalton? 48-year-old Andy Dalton? That's what you want back there? You're like, come on.
No, and then, but I think the flip side of it is if that pass would have been completed, nobody would have been talking about, oh, Jalen threw a great pass. Look at this. It would have been like, oh no, what's wrong with Q? Should we be concerned? And or like, oh, Jalen got lucky, Q slipped. Or it would have been the narrative would have changed
It,
completely.
the narrative would have been, look at that great catch by Hollywood Brown. That's what it would have been.
Right.
It wouldn't have been anything about Q. It wouldn't have been anything about Jalen threading the needle. It would have been great catch by Hollywood Brown. Like that's exactly what it would have been. So look, we can talk about it till we're blue in the face. Long story short is the fact that like at least on this podcast, we acknowledge Jalen. We acknowledge the fact that he's our quarterback. He's the leader of this team, and I'm damn happy about it. I don't
Right.
want to see him go because I know our football team is better with him at quarterback.
Right. And I think the other clarification is there are, and I think we talked about this last week, there's two ends of the spectrum. There's the people that no matter what he does, they're going to hate. And in the same token, no matter what he does, they're going to love him. Jalen does no, I mean, I hear the calls. Like there are people that, and look, AJ didn't play his best game that game, but the San Diego or Chargers game, LA Chargers game last year, that was a bad game by Jalen Hurts.
Mhm.
And Jalen is not perfect. Jalen has his flaws. Jalen has his deficiencies. I don't think there's any quarterback that is perfect unless you're going to go back to like Johnny Unitas or like Peyton Manning threw a lot of interceptions. You know what I mean? Like no quarterback is perfect. And I think that's the difference where we are is because we acknowledge that, you know what? He's got his flaws. He's got to work the middle of the field more. He's got to be, whether he's uncomfortable or not, has to be under center. Like that I think we're like the oddballs because we can see both sides of the coin and
Absolutely.
say, no, here's the truth.
We're realistic fans, is what it is. Like, like we've talked about it for 5 years now. His decision making needs to be better, right? And that goes
Yes.
along with everything that you just mentioned, the decision making, getting rid of the ball faster, all that stuff. That's why on 99% of lists, he's not in the top 10 because of that, because of those types of things. And I get it. I get it.
Right.
But if you tell me who do you want to be on your team? Crunch time, 2 minutes left to win the Super Bowl, balls in your hand. If you tell me between Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, or Jalen Hurts, I'm taking Jalen
I'm taking
Hurts
Jalen. Yeah.
99.999% of the time, unless he's hurt. That's it, because he's done it. He's done it.
I was, and that's what I was going to say. I've seen him do it, and the other guys have not. And I don't know. And then the other argument too. Well, he had a great team, and I'll give credit to WIP's morning team because they kind of addressed it. And John Ritchie was like, every team that has ever won a Super Bowl had a great team. You could be the best quarterback, Dan Marino, in the history of the game and have a shitty team around you and you're not winning. So like that is just a flawed argument from the start.
Well, that's the thing, right? You need to have a good team to win it. Like Tom Brady's the greatest quarterback to ever play. He has 7 Super Bowls. He should have 12,
Right.
but his team wasn't good enough because he can't do it all. And that's the thing. Everybody wants Jalen to do it all. Then when they win, well, Jalen was carried. But when they lose, it's all Jalen's fault. Make it make sense. Make it make
Right.
sense.
Yeah. And like I said, that Chargers game, I will put on Jalen. Like and despite that, they were still in that game and had a
Yes, they
shot to
still had
win
a
it
shot to
late.
win it. Yeah, it's
And
crazy.
like to me, that's on Jalen because if he didn't turn the ball over 5 times, if he turned it over 4, maybe it's a different game. And despite the fact he played balls out in the first Super Bowl against the Chiefs, he doesn't fumble that and it doesn't give return for a touchdown. You're talking about an entirely different game. And like I said, to his credit, he played well, but did he play well? And you know what I mean? And like, I'm not putting it 100% on him, but
Right.
like, that's where to me, like, realistically, it was a huge swing in that game because they could have gone up 3 touchdowns like they did 2 years ago.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Or to your point too, you go up, 13 or 17 there, completely different second
Yeah, I
half
guess it would have
than
been
only being up 10.
17. Yeah.
But still, you only being up 10 at halftime. Again, with that defense though, you thought you still pretty much had it in the bag, right?
Yeah.
But
Thanks,
is what
bad
it
guy.
is. Yeah, right. But long story short, appreciate what you have because he may not always be here. It's the same thing that we said about bunch of these guys, right? Like appreciate the guys that are here because when they're not here, you're gonna wish that they still were, right? And
Yep.
that's just what we got to do, man. Like I'm excited to see what he brings to the table this season because I don't know how it's possible, but the chip that he had on his shoulder got bigger, and I don't know how it's possible
He's
for it to get
he's
bigger,
double
but
chipping it now.
he got shoulder pad chips on his shoulders right now. Like that's what he has. So I feel bad for the rest of the league, really do. Now look, again, the hate and the criticism nationally and locally will prevent him from ever winning the MVP award. He won't win the MVP. He won't win it for 2 reasons. One, because of that, and two, because he's not going to throw for 5,000 yards and 48 touchdowns. That's just not what he's going to do. He's not Matt
No.
Stafford. He's not the offense isn't designed that way. He's not designed that way. But he could still be responsible for 45 touchdowns between running and
Easily.
passing. That could easily happen, right? And he could have 5,000 total yards between all that. You never know what can happen, right? But I just it's going to be a elite caliber season loading for Jalen Hurts.
Hear that, Bryce? Elite. Oh, wrong pod. Um,
Yeah.
anyway, speaking then of appreciation, the one big story I thought and really kind of stopped me, and I had to think about it, is Lane Johnson said this is probably going to be his last year. Um, finally, not finally, like I'm glad he's gone, but it's like this has been the speculation since probably 22, even maybe
Hmm.
before then. Um, we've been spoiled. And I think we're going to see appreciate what you have because it's not always going to be there. But I mean, Lane is has been an anchor for that offensive line for 13, 14 years now.
I mean, we said it time and time again. We've been fortunate at the tackle position for the Eagles for 20 plus years. You know, Runyon, Peters, Lane, like we've always had somebody that was a Hall of Fame caliber guy
Mhm.
at a tackle position. So, you know, I'm not saying Mailata can't be that guy, but
No.
the highly touted draft pick that anchors your offensive line for a decade plus. We don't have that guy right now because Mailata was a seventh round draft pick that they like transformed into a Pro Bowl tackle. And if he keeps going at the trajectory and has you know 3, 4 more seasons, who knows? He could be a Hall of Famer. But um, it's still not the same as what we've had, right? And like you know, it's if this is going to be his last year, it's the end of an era, right? It's the end of the Stoutland era, basically. The Stoutland
It
era is
is.
gone because Kelsey, now Lane. I mean, yeah, you got Mailata still around from that era, but like Mailata came in after the Super Bowl of 17. So like that
Yeah.
pre
And
17
he's gonna
Super Bowl,
and he should have like 4 or 5 more years easily left as long as
right?
he stays healthy too. So,
Yep,
yeah, I
yep.
mean,
So
it's
I
just
agree with you. I agree with you.
and
Appreciate it.
we gotta make sure we throw my man Trey in there too for tackles.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah,
forget
yeah,
about
yeah.
Trey.
Yep, yeah. Good point.
But, I mean, I will say because I hope everything's well. I have a feeling he was out because health things or whatever, because he kinda mentioned it, but he didn't go into detail with his parents. But it gave the opportunity to Markel Bell to kind of step in there and take first team reps. And from everything I'm hearing, like from everybody I kind of follow that goes to camp, he's been one of those guys that just has been completely solid. And we may be in good hands.
I think we will be. I think we will be. He's learning from two incredibly talented offensive linemen in Lane and Mailata, right? So like
Right.
he's not learning from, you know, turnstile offensive tackles that just give up sacks. Like these guys don't give up sacks, and he didn't give up many sacks in college either. So did by the way, did you see? And I'm gonna tie a bow on the Lane Johnson thing, but did you see that stat about Willie Lampkin? Willie Lampkin went like 600 snaps in high school and college without giving up a or 600. What was it? It was some incredible
It
uh,
was. I forget
stat,
the exact wording.
but
Oh,
it was
Willie.
like 656 consecutive snaps without giving up a sack, and that's like insane. That's insane for him.
Yeah. He's having a good camp so far.
He's having a great camp. And look,
We-
what we thought about was going to be a not a weak spot, but something that we didn't think they really addressed. I think we got offensive line depth again, so I think that's going to prove dividends for us with this new offense. So, but before I get out of talking about the offensive line, shout out to Lane. If this is your last year, we appreciate you. Hell of a career. Do what you
Yes.
gotta do, man. I appreciate everything you said about spending time with family, friends, your kids, all that stuff before they get too old, before they can't appreciate you in that same capacity. Do what you gotta do, man. You see what Kelsey's doing in his retirement. He's living the life, spending time with his kids and his family. Do the same thing, man. You deserve it. As an Eagles
Yep.
fan, we'll always appreciate everything you gave us, but definitely spend time with your family, man. That's obviously more important.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, I can't add anything on to that that's gonna be any different. I mean, except maybe thanks for the beer at the parade and after the
There you
Super
go.
Bowl in
There you go.
2017.
There you go.
He's,
Love it.
he's the last holdover from, Chip too, isn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, because he's the longest tenured Eagle.
Chip
Because
Kelly did one thing
If
right.
Brandon Graham comes back, Brandon Graham was technically an Andy Reid guy.
Yeah. Mhm. One thing that man did right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I guess the other big story coming out of camp is just, especially apparently today, I don't know what happened, um, but just the injuries. Like, is there anything to be concerned about with? Like, I think Devontae started running today. I heard and has been like on the sideline with like earphones on and like paying attention to what's happening. I'm not worried about him, but like Makai Lemon, the more he misses, the more I'm concerned about that. But then I heard Coop miss practice today, Q miss practice, Saquon tweaked his ankle. Like, is this just where we are in this point in camp, or is it
I honestly, I unless I hear somebody tearing an Achilles or ACL or anything like that, I think it's just normal wear and tear. That look, their bodies aren't used to this. They put pads on for the first time, and like they're actually doing stuff that you know as well as I do. When you started doing that in August, man, your body hurts
you're
in a
sore?
different way because like it's different when you're doing all these drills without pads on and nobody's touching you. Then when you start doing these exact same drills and cuts and people are actually hitting you, not like full fledged, but like
But
they're putting
still,
body on body. I
yeah,
mean, that it tweaks your body in a different way. So I don't put anything into it too much, but the only thing that concerns me is those soft tissue ones, man. Like especially for our receivers, like the hamstrings, like because we've seen it before. Like because from fantasy, you draft a receiver and you think they're going to be good, and then they're just nagged where they miss every other game because of a hamstring. Like that just makes for a long
o
season. So
or a or a running back, I should say, who, is on my never ever will I draft him again, Mr., Christian McCaffrey.
yeah, he's injured too. He got banged up in practice too. So who knows how if he's going to play again this year, like to the same level that everybody's expecting him to.
Yeah, do not draft,
Right there with you.
ever.
Right there with you. But yeah, I mean, look, I don't know. I don't hold a lot of weight in some of it. I mean, I don't know the details, and the Eagles do a great job of not giving the details out. They'll just say lower body injury and things like that.
It's
Like they
like the
don't
old
have to.
NHL injury.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I'm excited with the wide receiver competition is pretty good, man. With Dontavian Wicks, Hollywood Brown, and Darius
Yeah,
Cooper for those last spots.
cool. No, I love it, and I guess we'll get to the other stuff later because that's stuff we can talk about, but let's get into the game because I think of all of the position battles right now, that's the one I'm the most excited for is I wanna see, okay, because who was the guy under Andy Reid that was always Nate Brown? They're always like, "He's a camp Hall of Famer," and then got into games and couldn't do anything. So, Cooper's having this big camp. I wanna see what he can do and whether it's, the rifle or Tanner McKee, like, what can you do? And if you can excel with those 2 guys, like, I would rather see him play, to be honest, with Dalton and a guy who has NFL experience and see how he can do.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm with you. I think that would be a better like kind of seeing what happens type of thing to have Dalton throwing to him like an established quarterback. But I just want to see him on the field and see what he does in game time situations because like you said last year when he was in there, he would make a couple plays here and there, but it was what he's doing in camp wasn't what he was doing
Right,
last year. So if he can replicate that, like we understand what Wicks can do, and we also understand what Hollywood Brown can do because they've already done it in the NFL, right? They've already done it in the
right.
games. So, you know, um, it'll be interesting to see. I do want to see how this defense is. I want to see if we get playing time out of Reek and see what he can do. I want to see like those secondary position battles with like the guys that they got because we know Coop, Q, like we know those guys are going to be there. Like we
Mhm.
know they're starting, but like who else is going to shine in that secondary to like stand out? Because I still think there's some questions. I do. I still think there's some
I
questions back there.
I do too. And I mean, that's 100% like the other one. I'm anxious to see Trotter too, because I think he's another one who they keep saying he's having a good camp. And not that I see him starting over Bond or Jihad, but he could get a ton of playing time, which I think is going to keep those 2 guys fresh. And if he can trust him to go in, maybe not for Zach Bond. Bond is going to be the play caller, so he'll probably be in there.
Mhm.
But if you can come in and spell Campbell a little bit, like he's smart. Like he's just like his dad. Like he apparently like he is able to read the plays and knows where he needs to be. It's just a matter of I think getting the playing time.
The fact that you got 4 guys that you got Coop, you got Q, you got Bond, and you got Trot, that their football IQ is just through the
Yeah.
roof, and they're all on the same defense. So thank God for that. They're on our team, and they're all on the same defense. So what I want to see if and maybe he's not going to show it in a preseason game. I don't know, but I want to see if he puts Jahai Campbell at edge at all, because if that may be your solution to give Trot more playing time, you move Campbell up to edge and you rotate him in on that too every now and then.
That's interesting you say that though, because I did see in one of his press conferences, he essentially ended that and said he is not moving to edge. Now, I kind of look at Vic as kind of like an old school. Remember, like with the Eagles, like because today, by the way, is the anniversary of when they shocked everybody and signed Michael Vick. I remember like the Eagles were never mentioned, and like they kept coming out and saying we have no interest in signing him. We're not signing him. We're not signing him. And all of a sudden, oh yeah, we signed him. And they did that a lot. I could see Vic just saying that and then figuring out ways to disguise it, and then
Yep.
have him sort of cheat up and then go in that way.
Well, and that's kind of what I thought, right? So, even if, as you said, like maybe he's not officially edge, maybe he's outside linebacker, but
Right.
doing some things and floating around. So, like when you think about speed, right? If you have Trotter, Bond, and Campbell all on the field at the same time, that linebacker speed is ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous.
It is. It's. I
It's a
mean,
good problem to have. It's a good
right.
problem to have.
No, and I
Plus, you
mean,
got
and that
depth, right? You got depth because we saw what happened when Dean went out. We didn't have we didn't have much depth back there because Campbell was a rookie trying to learn the play system, right? So I think this gives you a little bit of depth and a little bit of wiggle room to kind of play, do some different type of schemes and do some different type of plays depending on who you're playing.
right. And I mean, I like I said, I just don't. Not that I don't trust Vic, but I just don't trust those old football guys when they say
Yeah,
no, no, no.
they're not going to show you their cards. You know what I mean? They're not going to show you what they got. Like they're going to do some things and keep everything close to the vest. I like it.
Right. No, I mean, like, so we got plans for Saturday night. So I will be DVRing it, and I'll be the nerd and kind of sit with a notebook then and take notes on all these things. But I'm also excited to see you are.
I am. I am. I don't know how much he's going to play. Hopefully, he plays a lot. Hopefully, they just let him out there and let him do his thing
Got
and
to
learn.
learn,
That's how
kid.
learn. It's like drinking from a fire hose. You know what I mean? Like you learn by the fire. Basically, they just throw you in and you just learn it. Like that's you learn
Right.
by experience. And he's not going to learn anything else in training camp more so than what he'll learn in the game when real game time speed. Right. And I'm not expecting him to get blown off the ball, but I'm expecting him to look like a fool in some cases where he's going to try to make a dive for a tackle, and he's going to whiff on it, and like he's going to make mistakes. But I'm
Right.
anxious to see that one play that he makes that everybody goes, "Ooh, we got something
He's
here."
going to be good. Yeah. Well, I
Exactly,
mean, it was
because
like Mailata when he played in preseason early on. It was just like,
it's going to
he missed
happen.
a block here. Yeah. But then you see him pancaking somebody and you're like, perfect.
And exactly, and that's what's gonna happen. I can see that happening with him where he might not get a sack or anything like that, but he's gonna stuff somebody pretty good, and you're gonna be like, "Uh-oh, you put him on that line." Even if he does that one time in a game, that's like a momentum builder, you know?
Yeah. Oh, I just picture the sidelines going
Oh,
crazy. And then our boy Ross Tucker, who, by the way, congratulations, Ross Tucker, on getting moved up to the number 2 team. Um, which I love.
yeah.
I love Ross Tucker.
I mean, he should have already been there anyway, in my opinion. I think the Tony Romo experience has passed us by because look, when Tony Romo came into it and he was calling the plays out before it happened and everything, that was cool. But then they told him not to. and
And then you
the
realize he's
coolness went
not a cool
away.
person.
He's not cool for commentary. Like, the whole point of him being commentary was like, "Oh, look, he's gonna call out that play. Oh, man, he was right." And, like, he gave you a different perspective on it. Once they nixed that and they told him not to do it anymore, you're like, "He's kinda boring," you know? Like, he's not as
Oh,
good
yeah,
as I
he's a
thought. Like,
nerd.
Greg Olson is a better commentator than him, and
I
that's not
love
saying
Greg Olsen.
much, but Greg
He's grown
Olson's
on me, though.
good. Yeah. Yeah.
He's
No, I'm with you.
definitely grown on me.
Yep.
But nah, I thought that was cool because I've somehow between, I guess, kids sports or whatever, I listened to a lot of the beginnings of Monday Night Football games, and Ian Eagle and Ross Tucker do the Westwood One Monday night broadcast, and they're phenomenal.
Yeah.
They're so good. So to see them too, it just sucks that they're on CBS and we're not going to really be watching too many of those games.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I'm with you.
But we
Yeah,
got
shout out to him. Congrats.
3 games of Ross for the preseason though.
Love it. Love it.
All right, before we wrap up, I wanted to get your take on something. Because I went down a rabbit hole and I turned it into like a whole segment on my podcast. But everybody talks about that 2020 draft with Rager and Justin Jefferson when Minnesota laughed at us and everything. And looking back on it now, still is the wrong pick. Every day it'll be the wrong pick. But I feel like sometimes you can the make the wrong pick, but it's the right choice because somehow through all of that, like if you start doing like that movie, The Butterfly Effect, like because of that, Howie had to kind of reevaluate himself, which led to drafting Devontae, which meant he didn't go to the Giants. He drafted Jalen, and I don't know if he drafted Justin Jefferson, whether he would have drafted Jalen. Maybe he bolsters the defense. And like there's a whole line of things. That's Doug Peterson, Carson Wentz, and all that leading up to do the Eagles win the Super Bowl in Super Bowl 59 if they had if they had drafted Justin Jefferson?
I don't think they do because, to your point, there's too many unknowns there with the quarterback situation. Like, could we be the Minnesota Vikings where we have Justin Jefferson, but we don't have anybody to throw to him?
Right.
You know what I mean? So, like, you have this shiny toy, but you can't play with it. Basically, like, that's essentially what it is. And they when they had Kirk Cousins throwing to him, they did great on offense, but their defense was Swiss cheese because you had so much money tied in the offense, right? So, it does make it tough. And to your point, I think it worked out the way it was supposed to work out, in my opinion, because yeah, we were pissed off. Yeah. And look, I remember going back and looking at text messages about my reaction to it. And I'm like, look, Justin Jefferson's not going to do what he did in college. He was a possession receiver in college with 100 catches. He's not going to be able to duplicate that in the pros. And Jalen Rager is a speedy guy. He's going to fit this offense better. I was wrong. I was wrong, ladies and gentlemen. I was 100% wrong. And I'll admit it. I was definitely wrong. I think what I was trying to do and not making excuses, but I was trying to put a positive spin on a terrible situation.
Talk yourself into it.
Talk myself into it and be like, nah, I think it's all right. I don't think it's that bad of a pick. No, it was a bad pick. It was definitely a bad pick. But to your point, it did make Howie hasn't missed on a first round pick since that pick.
He is not. That's what I mean. Like, I think he had to own it, which he did. And like going down the list, you don't get AJ then. And then maybe he's still remember he had this thing where he was taking Q aside because I think Q is like a anomaly when it comes to it. But remember he was like trying to outsmart everybody and take kids from the small colleges.
Yeah.
And then he's like, after that, he's like, I'm going to the SEC. And that's why we have all the kids from Georgia now. And I think it really changed him. And I think if he nailed that pick, I don't know if you get a self-reflective Howie where he realizes I have to be better.
Well, and that's what it comes down to. I mean, if Jalen Rager turns out to be Tyreek Hill just out of TCU, and Justin Jefferson could still be Justin Jefferson, but let's say Jalen Rager became Tyreek Hill, which that was the comps, right? That was the
Yeah.
comparison. He was shifty, he was a slot receiver, but could break it out wide, punt returner, all that stuff. if he turns out to be that guy, we probably don't draft Jalen. We definitely don't draft Devontae, and we don't trade for AJ. We might not go to 2 Super Bowls in 4 years. Like, Nick Sirianni might not even be our coach anymore. Like, there could have been a
Right.
coaching change at that point. So, you have no idea what could have happened. Um,
Well,
I just
Dougie
think
P
that
might have just sucked it up and
state
stayed with Wentz for a couple more years too.
correct. Correct. So, I think, to your point, how he owned it. And I don't think he had any choice but to own it because we weren't going to
No.
let him live that one down.
No.
And the whole league wasn't going to let him live it down. But like, look what he did in subsequent years. Like you said, he made trades twice on draft day within the last 6 years with the Dallas Cowboys.
Right.
He made a trade with the Cowboys to move up in front of the Giants. So not only are you making a trade with one of your arch enemies, but you're making a trade with one of your arch enemies to jump in front of your other arch enemy.
I still think of that guy freaking out on his stream. It better not be the Eagles. It better not be the
Yep.
Eagles.
Yep. Yep. And that's look, shout out to Howie for learning, right? Like, great people always learn from their mistakes. You know what I mean? Like, you don't lose, you learn. And I tell my kids that in all the sports we play. Look, we didn't lose,
Yeah.
we learned. Let's learn from it. Let's build on it. Let's come back the next game and play better. Howie did that for all the drafts after, right? He learned, he lived with it, he learned from it, and he hasn't made the same mistake again. And I don't think he ever will.
No.
But I think everything that was meant to happen happened the way that it was supposed to. Because if here's a follow-up question for you on this one. So we'll go down that rabbit hole with the Jalen Reagor, Justin Jefferson. How bad would it have been if we didn't have that Super Bowl in 2017 and then he made that draft pick?
Oh my God. It would have been like we've been calling for Howie to be fired. Like there would have been people saying, Jeffrey, you need to get rid of this dude because without that Super Bowl, it's like, hey, Chip was right. You belong in the closet. Let's get this dude out of there. Because right before that, like that was a make or break year, I think, for Howie.
Yeah.
And luckily for him, everything he touched that year turned to gold. And if it went south and then you pick Jalen Reagor, because I think Jalen Reagor was worse than Freddie Mitchell. Like, and the Freddie Mitchell one was bad because I think it was who's the guy for the Colts they could have had? Reggie Wayne.
Reggie Wayne.
And
Yep.
he took Freddie Mitchell. So I think, and I know that wasn't Howie. That I think Howie was probably on the staff then.
He was on the staff then, yeah.
That I think the Jalen Reagor. So yeah, it would have been bad for Howie. And it's just funny how, like I said, like that was every day of the week. That is still the wrong pick, but I don't think we're where we are now without that pick. And it's just funny how all the dominoes kind of lined up. Because then who knows? Maybe Daniel Jones with Devontae Smith turns into what Jalen or Devontae or Dan. What Jesus Christ turns into what Daniel Jones is now with the Colts.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And Saquon doesn't leave because you actually build an offensive line there. So you have Daniel
Yeah.
Jones, Saquon, and Devontae. You never know, right? I just I think, and maybe without that pick, we don't get aggressive Howie Roseman where he's making a trade for AJ Brown and he's willing to make draft day trades to get Q and Coop in the same
Mhm.
draft. Like he doesn't look to Vic and go, should we take a chance on Zach Bond? You think you can make him into a linebacker? That's not what he doesn't pay a running back in Saquon Barkley. He doesn't pay a linebacker in Zach Bond because he never did before. So maybe we don't
Yeah,
get that version of Howie, you know?
it's crazy, absolutely crazy. But thankfully, we took Jalen Reagor then in 2020.
We did. We did. We took 2 Jalen's, right? That was the year we drafted
It
Jalen
was.
Hurts too. So,
Yep.
it was the year of Jalen. And look,
And COVID.
if you're gonna draft 2 of them, you better hit on one of them, and we hit on one of them, so that was good.
Depending on who you ask, some people might say
Yeah.
you didn't hit on either one.
Yeah, some people might say it was the same. It was, you missed on both. Idiots.
It's like the meme with Pam from The Office. It's the same picture.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
All right.
Love it.
On that note, I think it's time to wrap this up because now it's getting goofy.
Yes.
But we will be back next week. Getting ready. Next week's going to be a big week because of that Patriots joint practice. I'm looking forward to that.
Ooh.
But I know. But I mean, essentially, that's the preseason. That's the
Yeah.
preseason game where you're going to see the start, like not the game,
In
but
the
that
practices. Yeah.
the
Yeah.
practice, not the
Yep.
game, not the
Yep.
game, but practice.
Yeah. Still say they should televise the joint practices because we all know that
Absolutely.
that's when the starters play the most. That's when everybody's competing. That's when everything gets heated. Like that's when
Yeah.
everybody cares. The preseason game that follows that joint practice, none of the starters play.
No, because they beat each other up all week during practice.
Right. Right.
But where can everybody find you, brother?
All right. So on the socials, you can catch me Twitter, Instagram, all the fun ones at Kyle Mont 16. And then each and every week, you can catch me on the Classic Conferences Network. We do an all sports members pod where we talk about anything and everything sports related. So we also have been doing a segment called Clash and Draft where 4 rounds, you draft certain things in draft order, and social media does its work and votes on who had the best draft. So categories range from everything. I think this week's was best cereal.
Breakfast
So
cereals. Yep.
breakfast cereal, yeah, breakfast cereals. Which, contrary to popular belief, one of the guys in our group, Patty, thinks that it's just cold soup. He says cereal is just cold soup, and I can understand the argument because soup is
I
hot
can.
with something in broth, and cereal is cold with something in milk, which is kind of like broth. I'm like, all right, I get it. I
It made
understand the
me
argument.
think. It made
Yeah,
me
I
think.
don't agree with it, but I get it. I get it. So yeah, you can catch me there each and every week. Good things. And look, if you're a sports fan and you don't have anything better to do, or you don't have anybody to talk to and banter with, come join us. Come check us out. Come join us. You won't regret it. I promise.
It's nonstop banner. It's always a good time.
Always. What about you? Where can they find you, brother? I know you're
Every Monday through
pretty much
Friday.
everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. Every Monday through Friday, this day in Philly sports history. All my socials are at Philly Jimbo. Uh, I don't know. I got a lot going on. I'm in the process of writing a book. I'm in the process of not the what ifs in Philly sports history. Joe Giglio, you stole that
Even
idea
though
from
his
me.
would be better, Joe,
Yeah. I'm not telling you what this book is, but I'm in the
you
process of
can't.
writing a
You
book.
can't because somebody else will write it.
Yeah, Kyle Quinn. Um, anyway, and then getting ready, gearing up for the Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame induction ceremony this November. The Philly Hall will be back. We're kind of retweaking, trying to figure out a place where the two of us can be together in the same room, ultimately setting up to start interviewing some of the inductees. So stay tuned for that.
Love it.
Follow me on my social media. Where else am I? I'm not doing any speaking gigs yet. Like I figured I have enough going on. But if you want to book me, you're in a library or a community center or an old folks home, you want somebody to come in and do a 30-minute, 45-minute lecture on Philly sports history, you know where to find me.
He does magic tricks too. So, just throwing it out there.
And we're gearing up for travel sports season. So I'll
Oh
sleep
yeah.
I'll sleep next summer. It's all good.
Yeah. I mean, sleep's overrated anyway.
But I also want to say if there's any high school teams or Division III college teams that are looking for a defensive coordinator, you know where to find them right there.
Let's go. Let's go. I'm ready. I'm ready. 9-year-olds will run shop on people. I'm telling you. So give me high school kids. I'm ready. I'm ready.
I love it. All right, everybody. On that note, we will be back next week to recap the Ravens preseason game and get you ready for the big AJ Brown. Is that in Philly or New England?
I believe it's in New England.
Of course it is. Of course it
Yeah,
is.
pretty sure.
And maybe we'll have a Diana Rossini appearance by then too.
Oh, there's a name we haven't mentioned all preseason. Yep, it's coming. I'm telling you, it's coming. Wait till the news. News is gonna
We
break
got a
soon.
month. We got a
It's
month.
gonna
Something's
come.
coming soon, and this
Oh
would
yeah.
be the week for it to happen.
Yes, it
All
will.
right,
It's gonna be fun.
now it's getting crazy. All right,
Question
on
of the
that note,
day this week: will Diana Rossini make a appearance at practice? Question of the day. Guaranteed, it's coming this week. Watch on if you listen to WIP and they mention Diana Rossini's name, you heard it here first.
215-594-9490. All right, we will see you next week, everybody. But until then, go Birds.
Go Birds.